Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for March 20th through 21st, 2020. How are you doing? Well, we have had the sun move into the sign of Aries, starting the official point of spring in the Northern Hemisphere, fall in the Southern Hemisphere. This is marking a huge shift for us energetically, the beginning of a number of shifts in these next upcoming days, as we have that new moon on Tuesday, the 24th, and we also have Saturn moving into Taurus. Saturn moving into Aquarius. So powerful. Today, we have got Mars exactly in conjunction with Jupiter at 22 degrees, right where that Saturn and Pluto conjunction happened in January. So we've talked about how the Saturn-Pluto conjunction was like an energy gong going off. And then when Jupiter comes into the mix, that's when we're actually going to see what this is about. So here we are. Very intense time in the world, more and more messages coming in every day that it's not as bad as it looks. There's other things going on we don't understand. And it's important for us to just sit tight and try to be present with the light, with what we're creating in this new world. Now, this is a big part of the message of the 22. So we got Mars at 22, Jupiter at 22. 22 is a master builder number. 2 and 2 add up to 4. So that's about 4 walls. And 22 is 2 11s put together. So it's like the gateway to a new paradigm. And this is an important energy for us to keep our attention on, that's what's really happening. And we need to, of course, step back from the everyday energies and see that bigger picture. So this new paradigm is also being shown to us by the grid, the little star grid that continues to be created for us as the planets move through the signs, because we've got now Mercury is in Pisces and coming in. Mercury is at 2 degrees Pisces today. So we've got Mars 22, Jupiter 22, Mercury at 2. So really powerful energy there with 2 is about coming together and working together, seeing through our opposite sides of perspective to find a way to work together. And kind of like, it's got an energy of that joining the masculine and feminine, which was a really cool energy that came up, that we need to heal our masculine and feminine within in order to get into our heart consciousness. And that was a big concept in the equinox session last night. Really great. If you want to catch the replay, it's still available for you. So the thing is that Mercury is not, we've still got Uranus exactly sextile the north node and trine the south node. And now Mercury is coming into a sextile with Uranus. So we've got, if all the planets, if there were sextiles all the way around, it would create a 6-pointed star. And so we've been having this kind of lining up of these planets in this amazing configuration of like one sign, next sign at the same degree happening all the way since November, when all of this kind of started, when Jupiter and Venus went over that galactic center together, and then we had that crazy eclipse. And so this Mercury coming into sextile with Uranus is like completing, giving us more of this star pattern, talking about that we are creating a new grid, a star grid, getting out of the lower matrix. And that's more evidence to hold tight, hold space, be in the light, trust, and put your energy towards this new world we're creating, the new paradigm, the new star paradigm, the new Christ consciousness grid, that we're replacing the old lower paradigm that was keeping us all in lower frequency vibrations with technological control. And it does seem like more and more evidence, like I said, that there's positive things happening behind the scenes. The control, like the technological control seems to have lifted off, and maybe this is part, and there's also just powerful higher vibration energies coming in with this Mars, Jupiter, Pluto conjunction. And so it's like, whoa, we've got this crazy juxtaposition, right? Of all this hysteria and fear and, Armageddon energy, and we're all going to die. And then we've got like, oh my gosh, the light's coming in. Finally, I can breathe, like through my crown and feel alive and feel joy and creativity again, So try to use that energy as much as possible. And it seems like people are kind of back and forth between, almost like I talked about yesterday, these parallel timelines. And just when you can, just very deliberately bringing your attention back to the new paradigm energy, because that's why you're here. And that's why you've gone through all you've gone through to still be here at this time. And the message is definitely coming in around that like there's blessings coming in. And this is part of this Uranus sextile the North Node. And now, so then Mercury sextile Uranus, and they're lining up in that star pattern that puts Mercury in trine to the North Node. So it's like all very harmonious energies, and kind of reminding us what we're really doing here. And so when we can put our attention there, it just feels like we're stepping in, part of that Uranus sextile the North Node is our worthiness for who we really are, and feeling like we deserve our higher intuitive abilities, deserve that joy, deserve our true power as advanced beings, and move into that power and claim those blessings, be willing to receive the bucket of blessings that may be trying to come to you, even though it looks very dark and scary out there right now. And so the square energy that we have is, of course, this Chiron, Black Moon, Lilith, but Chiron exactly square to the nodes. Black Moon, Lilith has moved on now, moving on a little bit. And so Chiron square the nodes, of course, is this intense energy around deep psychic healing that needs to happen. And clearly that's happening. And Black Moon Lilith kind of snaking through there with that Chiron conjunction. Black Moon Lilith being that dark side of the moon, the darkest places of feelings within us and in the collective secrets and nasty stuff, which we know need to come to the surface. And that's partly what's happening right now, is that those people in control are losing control, that the darkest energies on the earth. But we also have these within us too. So it's interesting as we look at the situation as a healing crisis, because these dark places of fear and scarcity and lack and low self-worth and survival mode, we've been kept in that place for so long, but it's deeply suppressed. Like people are just like, well, just keep going on, just live your life, make it through. And now we're having this big bloom in the collective. And is that part of it, like this expression of those darkest places within the psyche of the individual, that's supporting actually the more truth coming out about people are going to feel way better, even though it's going to feel worse on some level to know more truth, but they're going to also feel way better understanding that this is more of a psyop and not an actual pandemic that's going to kill a bunch of people, right? So we are kind of in that weird place of preparing for like massive amounts of truth to come to humanity. And so if you're interested in more of that stuff, you can check out my other channel, True Awakening, and I'll put a link. I forgot to do it this morning, but I'll go back into that, put a link. And I put a link yesterday's video into that new channel, to my other YouTube channel, where we're deeply explore more of these truths, which of course there isn't like actual truth is subjective on some level, but we're talking about revelations that are coming to humanity that are really important in moving our evolution forward and going deeper into that stuff. So you can check that out. And so the other thing that's happening coming up for this new moon, which I need to get a video out on that, because the new moon energies are just so powerful. And I think we're going to have another big shift. This equinox is a big shift. But for the new moon, Venus is coming into a sextile with Neptune. So just adding another of this star pattern to our experience. And so that will bring an energy of possibilities and dreaming a new dream around our self-worth. And that's really kind of a cool energy. We'll still be feeling that Uranus exactly sextile the North Node, and then Mercury exactly sextile Uranus for this new moon. And then it's the day before the new moon, or right around the full moon, the new moon, excuse me, in Aries, that Saturn moves into Aquarius, the first of these big player planets to cross over the threshold into that new vibration. And so there's a lot of messages for us right now around creating this new paradigm and allowing this new grid to be here, letting all fall away. There's a lot of messages around gratitude. Like, this is a time when we've had a lot of us struggle in these souls, of course, emotionally, and heavy energies of the collective, and just being targeted, feeling like things are working against you, not being able to figure your life out in this 3D reality. But in general, humanity's had it pretty easy for a while. And what's happening is, underneath now that the pain and hysteria is kind of like people are having a moment to get used to the situation, and there's deep energies of gratitude for what we have in our life. And that's a beautiful energy that can create like true gratitude, not like, oh, I'm going to have an attitude of gratitude, but like true gratitude welling up for what we have in our life. And appreciating our support network and those, I know a lot of these souls haven't really had that, but that energy is really potent and powerful right now in helping us do this energy work that we're here to do, of just putting our eye on the prize of the new paradigm and the Aquarian age, and what we're really doing, creating a new world with these 22s, all these twos today. Building 4 walls, 2 and 2 is 4, right? So 4 walls, and it's like that new paradigm, and the new paradigm is a star. Okay. So it's about us being the star we are. And that's a big message that, for these souls, is that you've been operating on very like partial cylinders, just a small amount of you here in this world getting through. There's a big, big, big part of you that wants to land home to earth. And yet the energies haven't been quite right. And there's lots of kind of factors in this, like a partial incarnation. And now it's like time to land home, these divine timelines coming in, and your more ideal timeline, and this bigger self. As I see people go through this process, it's like, you don't know this person. Like, you've been living it's like there's a placeholder that's been in your life, and like who you really are is like, you got to get to know that. And it's a big adjustment. It can be dramatic. It can be intense. And maybe that's part of the energies that are happening on the planet too. But hold in there with these possibilities of this new energy we're creating, and why you made it this far in this earth evolution and stayed through all of what's happened to you, is for now, for these energies coming in, and it's all going to be worth it. And I did hear, I haven't been able to go research and validate, but from 2 different sources, I heard no new cases of the virus in China. And so that's really good news. And so I look forward to connecting with you tomorrow on the next update, and I'll get that new moon information. I'm going to do a live activation for the new moon on Monday. I think it's going to be at 3 p.m. Mountain Time in the afternoon on Monday, the 23rd. So I hope you'll consider joining that, and keep up with the updates, keep up with this being in this your own paradigm outside of the chaos, and hold space for what it is we're creating, because that's a big part of why you've gone through all you've gone through, to be right here, right now, and allow yourself to hold the vibration. We know this is a vibrational reality. We think we create with our mind, but it's vibrational resonance. So we got to bring our vibration back to that new paradigm, the star paradigm, the star you are. So I look forward to seeing you soon tomorrow on the next update, and a couple more days of that 21 days of presence. Maybe you can catch it. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.